So everybody, let me introduce my guest. This is Kerri-Ann Appleton, and like I said, she's a transformational coach out of Rio. And Kerri-Ann supports women in becoming more authentic and to step into their absolute truth. She helps them to fully engage and experience life on such a deeper level and helps them become more about their true essence and uncover who they really are. So, you know, Kerri-Ann and I, we work on a lot of the same stuff, but we approach it from a different point of view. And I just absolutely love having these deep conversations with other coaches. And just a quick shout out to Amelia. It's so nice to have you in the house tonight, sister. Hi there. So Kerri, welcome. Welcome to Tuesday Talk.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and to be with you. And I love not just sharing my own methodologies, but love the fact that there's so many methodologies out there to do this work. And it's just not one way to do life. And they're all beneficial.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, really, I mean, and right at this time that we're in right now, there is so much transformation happening in the world. And it's you know what, if you don't like one coach, go find another, because there's a million, maybe more than a million, probably, amazing people out there that are ready to hold your hand through your journey.
Yep, exactly. And in finding one that really resonates with you, it's going to support you at where you're at and that you feel the most comfortable with, because that's the person that you'll start opening up to. Right?
Absolutely.
And showing your most vulnerable self. Exactly. Yeah. It's awesome work. It's amazing.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started. What's your journey been like to actually get here? Share a little bit of your backstory with us.
Sure. You know, mine started really, I mean, there's a lot of starting points, let's be honest, because you're on this like constant cycle of growth. But the one I mostly talk about is, I want to say it was in 2007 or 2006. I was literally under the water fountain at my work having a panic attack. It was a real eye-opener for me to realize, okay, I have amazing stuff happening in my life. You know, I own a condo. I've got a great job that I'm passionate about. I have amazing friends. I live in an amazing city. Why is it happening to me? And so I kind of went down the rabbit hole of studying neuroscience and meditation to understand what was happening in the brain more for me. And through that journey, I did a lot of, you know, I've read Dr. Joe Dispenza's books. I've attended 4 of his workshops, Bruce Lipton's work, Greg Braden, and just started to dive in and apply it to my life, But the big really shift that started to occur in my life, the transformation, was just a little over 5 years ago. I woke up in a hotel room in the north part of Brazil, just grieving and not knowing why. Not really. I mean, there were some triggers that happened, but there was something more deeper coming up for me. And I started to go, wow, I got to get more curious about this and reach out for support with my beautiful friend, Julia Munson, who is, you know, a coach and a therapist as well. I'm not a therapist, but she's also a therapist is what I wanted to say besides a coach. And, you know, she started to really help me unpack what was happening and kind of, I don't want to say help, but it started, a journey for me started to unfold. And I started to go more deeper in finding my own authentic self and true essence. And I'm still on that journey. It's a constant of like, oh, this next level. Does that make sense? And I became so passionate about it. I started to apply, you know, the work that Julia does, not just with an individual, but on an organizational level. With the organization I worked with, I really dived in deep into the work, and then started to see, there's something more here for me. Because I had already studied, you know, yoga. I got into Reiki, and wanted to do more, and felt a bigger calling that had bigger need in the world that I knew that I could support. If that makes sense.
It totally makes sense, and I really understand what you're saying about like wanting to go deeper with this neuroscience. As we are on our own journeys and we're healing, like you said, it's a constant um, upgrading that we're going through. I think all of us, we're always learning. I mean, at least I know that for myself, lifelong learning is such a goal. But to have some of the science coming forward and backing up some of these things that they've been these soft skills that we've known are important, but we haven't really paid a lot of attention to them because, well, how can you prove that? And the fact that we're proving that positive thoughts actually heal us from physical illnesses is mind-blowing. I was just listening to some stuff by Bruce Lipton this week, and it's blowing my mind how we can absolutely heal ourselves on such a profound level.
Yep. Yeah. And what's so beautiful is that we can stop looking outside of ourselves. Science is great, and it provides us with some great information for us to start to believe it. But the proof is when we step in and do it. Does that make sense? When we really step in and start to experiment in our own life and just witness the changes, we're like, oh, I don't need someone to create a scientific, report saying, yep, this is true. I'm the proof myself. Yeah. Does that make sense?
But I think some people need to have that to begin with, to take
the
first steps.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so, nothing's better than when we start to see the manifestation come through ourselves.
Yeah, and that's part of the journey of coming back into your true essence, because there's so much truth there, and the divine within you is connected to the divine within all of us. And when you step in and start really connecting with it, you trust it. Yeah. You trust it. And you trust that it's right for you, whatever that is. And then you also realize, oh, what is right for me is also like what is right for others is right for them, is what I want to say. And you honor that. You don't judge it. You don't say, no. It's right for me. It should be right for you. You say, no, I understand what is so right, what is so authentic for me is so, whatever is for you, and I honor that. Does that make sense?
Oh, that is such an important statement. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, how there's all kinds of modalities. And this is why, it's because we are all unique and amazing beings on this planet, and there is no one way fits all. I know that that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned as I've traveled around the world, is that we all do many things that are similar, but we all approach it from different cultural standpoints, different perspectives. And personally, that's what I think makes this world such an incredible and beautifully diverse place, is that we are all so unique. And yes, honoring that each person has their own unique path makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're each our own unique piece of art.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, and that's one of the phrases that I use a lot, is that creating your life as it is a piece of art. Absolutely. I love that. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, of course.
So tell us a little bit about what it looks like if somebody was interested in working with you. How do you like to help people along their path and their journey?
Sure. So the two areas that I help women the most is, the first, if they don't know what their kind of life's intention is. So in other words, people use like their purpose or their why, and they're like, I don't know what it is. I just know this is not it. So walking them through a journey of really discovering that. And when we do that, it's coming back to what's their true essence, what's their most authentic self, and unpeeling the layers and kind of going on a rediscovery, because it's there. It's not like it's never been there. It's always been there. So that's the first area. And then I come across women, I work with a group of women that have that, like they know what their passion is. They know what their life's intention is, but they don't know how to like activate it or act upon it. So helping them move through those areas, the blocks, the beliefs, all that stuff that's in the subconscious, and kind of start unpacking it all and starting to take steps forward towards really living towards their life's intention. And part of that process is giving them tools to start mastering it themselves, the journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's I think that is so key, is to empower people to know how to move forward on the journey.
Yeah.
I look at it like, I'm just a guide. I'm not here to heal you. You're here to heal yourself. And I'm here to help you ask the right questions and find your own unique voice and your own unique path. And I think that's exactly what you're saying as well.
Yeah, and I think about this idea of teaching a man to fish versus giving a man a fish. So if I can also support them, because I might see something that's going on in the world that they can't see because they're in it. They're so in it, you know? And so I might be able to support them and kind of give them some guidance to, like, it's to the left, it's to the right, but also, can I teach you how to start seeing these things? So you don't always have to depend on somebody else, but can I teach you? And sometimes, you know, you level up and you need support to get to that next level. So you work with someone else, or you might work with me again, or whatever that support. You might read a book. You might go do a 9-day meditation retreat, whatever, to get to whatever the next level. It's like a video game. You work through one level, right? And you get really skillful.
Yeah.
And then you get to the next, and you sometimes need support, right? And you earn points, and you pay for a tool that you need. I don't even play video games, by the way, at all. But I know these things. But it is.
Yeah.
It's like that. And you go to the next level.
That's a great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, leveling up. It's just a constant leveling up.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me too of the analogy of how we are like computers to a certain extent, and how we can, you know, as we're leveling up, we can actually erase, you know, disinstall these programs that are no longer serving us. And that's part of our leveling up process.
Yep. It's kind of like the caterpillar going into the cocoon to be a butterfly. It has to shed things in order to become the butterfly. And then when it comes out of that cocoon, it's like, who the heck am I? What is this thing called a wing? It feels scary, right? You know, and figuring out that's the next level. And I can fly. And yeah, exactly. I love it.
So I wanted to ask you if you have any pro tips or any little exercise that we could actually take our viewers through right now so that they could get a taste of your potent medicine.
Yeah. One simple one that I think a lot of people don't do is connect with their body enough. Like, we may go running, we may do yoga, but really connect with the sensations of the body. We're emotional beings. You know, there's an emotional side of us, there's a spiritual side of us, there's a mental side of us. And so sometimes what I like to do is a very simple exercise to get people just into their bodies. And it's a meditation. So we game?
Sounds great.
Okay. So for those that are listening out there, or listening in the replay later, go ahead and just, you know, get into a comfortable position. Allow your arms to either fall just naturally at your side or on your lap, however they fall. They can be together, aside, however it feels natural to you. And go ahead and close your eyes. And just begin to connect with your breath. Recognize how the air feels as it enters your body and exits your body. Notice how your lungs expand and contract. Notice how your diaphragm and your stomach move with every inhale and every exhale. Now I want you to begin to recognize the sense of touch. So recognize how the air feels on your cheeks. Does it feel warm? Does it feel soft? Is it hot? Is it cold? Recognize how your clothes feel. So your shirt you're wearing, how does it feel on your body? How does it feel on the top of your shoulders? Going down your back, along your rib cage. Now recognize the sense of sound, of hearing. Besides my voice, what else can you hear in the space that you're in? What's really close to you? What's the sound that's the most closest to you? And what's the sound that's the most furthest away that you can hear? And recognize if the sound is soft. Is it sharp? Is it light? Do you know what it is? Now recognize the sense of smell by really breathing in your nose and recognizing the air that's coming through your nose. And what does it smell like to you? Is it sweet? Is it salty? Does it feel heavy? Is it warm? Is it light? Is it cold? And now open your mouth slightly and recognize the sense of taste. How does the air feel on your tongue? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? What does the air taste like? Taste it like you were tasting a glass of wine or a sip of wine. And just take it all in. Now just recognize how you feel in your body. And is there one area of your body that you feel more strongly, some kind of sensation more strongly than another? And there's no right or wrong way. Just recognize the sensation you're feeling and where in your body you're feeling it. And begin to describe those sensations you're feeling in that body. Is it sharp? Is it tight? Is there a color? Is there an image that comes to mind, like a rock or a box or a pillow or the sun? Again, there's no right or wrong. Just if you could describe the sensation you're feeling. Now come back to the space you're in. Recognize what you're sitting on. Wiggle your toes and your fingertips and go ahead and open your eyes. So what's great about this, and for people who aren't connected with their bodies, because we're often just cut off at the head, we're so much in our head that we forget our bodies, is this brings them safely back in. Because when you start to feel your emotions, which emotions are energy in motion, and emotions are always telling us something, and they want to be expressed, they want to be released, it can be really scary and foreign. So when we start to just, what does it, feel like the air touching? What does it feel like on the tip of my tongue? What does it smell like? What do I hear? And those are senses that are not as primary as our sight. Our sight just kind of takes over. what we see outside of us and not what we see within us. So just doing something very simple can start grounding you and have you start coming in. And that's the exploration of your authentic self and your true essence. Because it's in here.
That's beautiful. That's really well said.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I love it. It's
that,
so,
you know, sometimes we look at meditation as something that's good for us and all of that, but I'm not sure that we always connect that process of getting so deeply in touch in just a short couple of minutes with being in touch with our essence.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, because some people use
Yeah,
meditation as it's just like yoga, like I'm going to go do it as a workout. And yoga is about,
right.
bringing together the mind, body, and spirit. The three pieces. When you really study yoga, it's not just like, let's get a physical workout,
Yeah,
and so I think
right.
some people think, oh, I hear meditation's so good for me, but they don't always understand why. And that, again, there's so many different types of meditation. I mean, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about you're always meditating, but what are you meditating on? Like thinking about what you're focused on, that's a meditation. So if you're
Yeah,
focused on anxiety and stress, but that's what you're meditating. So when you start to bring awareness and shift your focus, that's a new meditation. So it can be a walking meditation, it can be closing your eyes, it can be, anything. Coloring can be a meditation.
yeah, absolutely. And there's so many coloring books now
Mm-hmm.
that are like the mandala
Yep.
meditation coloring book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cooking.
Kerri, tell us a little bit about one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, what do you think is the bit, as you're working with your clients, what are you seeing as some of the biggest challenges for people to really break through and find their authentic essence? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I think, yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is how much control their monkey mind has. And the monkey mind, or the ego, and I call it a monkey mind because it's kind of a funny little character, and you can kind of go, hey, quit it over there, little monkey, little devil. Is there to
Call it
protect
the
us.
inner critic.
The inner critic, and then sometimes it can be very positive too and serve us.
Yeah.
But it's there to protect us. But it was created based on our first 7 years of life, and how we saw the world and what we made meaning to it, because we came into this world without knowing how it worked, how we're going to survive, and so we had to create patterns and start creating this like download, and so it operates off of that. Something happened to us, most likely in those first 7 years, and it says, okay, we act like this, we do like this because we want to avoid that happening. But then we're avoiding growth. So the monkey mind is the biggest challenge I see. And for my clients to recognize what it is, what it sounds like, what it feels like in the body, and to start, and then to see what those words and patterns are, and to start to shift them and literally let go of them. I mean, you're changing your identity in a sense, because you've identified as this one person or operating system, and you're creating another one. And so there's a lot of emotion that you will go through. And so also teaching my clients how to move through that emotion to get to the other side. It's okay to have emotion, and teaching them how to have sadness, how to have fear, how to have anger, how to feel it through to completion instead of stuffing it down.
Right.
Does that
So
make sense?
important.
Yep.
Totally
And I think the other thing I was going to say, the big challenge that I often get is, I kind of lost my train of thought for a minute there. I had something great. It will come back to me.
Awesome. Well, I want to say that it's amazing when we start to recognize that monkey mind, that inner critic. And by the way, the word critic doesn't mean negative or positive.
True.
It's critical. It's
true.
considering.
Very true.
But yeah. And but what I want to say about that is when we start to hear it, and especially the negative, it's amazing when we start to pay attention to it. We're like, whoa, did I just say that to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do I really believe that? And so, yeah, I love bringing that to the surface,
Yep.
to the conscious mind.
Yeah.
Because it is so stuck and rooted in the subconscious.
Yep. No, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a deep root in there. You know, it's like uprooting a tree.
Yeah.
There's a deep one. You got to keep digging. You got to go under the surface. And it's like, this is a doozy. But then when you do, it's such a beautiful release. It's a beautiful release. Yep. And it feels good.
Yeah, right. Absolute freedom.
Yep. Yeah.
So Kerri-Ann, tell us a little bit tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you if they would like to have more information.
Sure. The best place to get in touch with me is right here on Facebook. So whether, I mean, of course I have like a business page, but I actually have a great group. It's called Passionately Live a Life You Love. We have over 1,000 women in it. You know, it's very active. Every day we're posting things in there. We have daily themes. We're giving a lot of value around how to, one, discover what that thing is. What's your life's intention? What's your purpose? What's your why? And also, how do you start living it? So we give little tips and tricks, and I do lots of different activities. Plus, the women in there give a lot as well. They ask for support and they give a lot of support. And it's just a really loving, empowering community. So Passionately Live a Life You Love is the best place, especially if you're a woman and that you want to connect with myself and with other like-minded women. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you think that maybe you would put the link to that group in the comments here so that people can easily
totally
find it?
Yep. After we get off,
awesome.
because I don't want to touch the phone.
No, absolutely. And
Yeah.
do you want to leave an email, or is it best just to find you on Facebook and message you?
Yeah, find me on Facebook and message me. Obviously, I'm linked to this video, so you can just click on my profile, send me a message, I'll get it. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, getting a direct link to the group as well. Have any other additional questions? Always happy to answer them. Always. I see Ruth joined us. Hi, Ruth.
Oh, hi, Ruth. I'm not seeing. It's interesting. I'm only seeing my people, not your people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because my
happy,
aunt got on here. My niece got on here. This is great. You know, one thing I just love, one word of wisdom is just saying I am enough. Reminding yourself, do it in the mirror, looking at yourself, even if it feels silly and ridiculous, and saying, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Because I think that's one of our most biggest challenges.
We can.
Yep. I am enough.
The mirror work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep. For sure. I love it.
I want to thank you for coming on the Tuesday Talk and sharing your potent medicine with us tonight. I got a lot out of this. I got a lot out of the meditation. It was a super busy day for me. And just having that moment with my eyes closed, and the sound that I kept hearing was the frog going click, click, click.
Nice. Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for bringing me back to my center, to my essence in this moment. And I just love following you. I love the work that you do. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I love your work. This work is so important for all of us. So I just really appreciate your presence on this planet and in this space, and doing the beautiful work you're doing as well, Lynn. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kerri-Ann. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, guys, that's it for tonight. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with another beautiful guest. And Kerri-Ann, I hope you have a beautiful evening tonight. And I look forward to having more dialogue with you in the future.
Yes, for sure. Ciao, ciao.
Night.
Beijos.
Bye.